Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ferris Sports Update. I'm your host, Rob Bentley, and thanks again for tuning in. On today's show, we'll recap an exciting and winning weekend for the Ferris State Bulldogs as we talk Bulldog football, Bulldog hockey, and, of course, women's volleyball. And we'll start with Bulldog football, joined by head coach Tony Annese. And, Coach, welcome back, and congratulations on another Bulldog victory.
Thanks, Rob. It was a great weekend.
A defensive battle on Saturday, but your team able to pull out a 24-14 win over Michigan Tech. Just talk about the performance.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people think, you know, we just always have to be an offensive show, but, you know, their defense is a really stout defense. They're number 2 in the conference, and against the Rush, we're number 1. And so we knew they'd be a tough defense. Plus, they're so well schooled on you know, the fundamentals of the things they need to do successfully to execute their defense. Their coaching staff does a great job with that. So, you know, at halftime, I told our defense, you know, we just need you guys to play great, and they did. In the second half, we were just incredible on defense. Nationally
televised game. How did the extra timeouts and some of those things impact you in terms of getting in a rhythm?
Yeah, you know, the timeouts were different. You know, I got tired of talking to my team on the sidelines. Like, goodness gracious, how often do I have to talk to you guys? But, you know, the timeouts were different. But you know, it didn't affect the way we play, you know, because we're not, you know, we're no huddle and a fast-paced team. But, you know, it's after first down, and most of those were, you know, prior to first down where we had to wait to have first down. So, you know, it was different, but the weather was different, and the timeouts were different, but other than that, you know, it was something that really didn't impact us.
As we go to some of the highlights of the game, you started off and had a great group of alums back again this past weekend for the 70s and 80s reunion for some of the Nick Coso teams.
Yeah, they were here to celebrate Coach Coso and his, you know, his historical impact here at Ferris State. And they were grateful that they were here, and you know, hopefully they come back now more. I got an email this morning from one of them that said they really feel connected to the program now, and they want to come back on a regular. So that's awesome.
Great start here. Jaleel Canty on a punt return, 71 yards for a touchdown, and special teams got you out to the early lead.
Yeah, we were 3 and out for the first time all year on the first possession, and punted it to them, and then Jaleel took it back. So that's a unit doing a great job. Coach McEwen coaches that unit, and Jaleel's been close to breaking one, and finally he did.
See a couple defensive plays right here. Defense again played exceptionally well here in the contest.
Yeah, you know, they definitely handled the game for us. You know, we were hit and miss on offense. Had 3 turnovers in the first half. Had 4 drops in the first half. So some of the things that you know, we do pretty effectively, we didn't do. Even though we completed a pass, we had a penalty, and they declined it and held us to a field goal.
This field goal gives you a 10-0 lead, but we'll see Michigan Tech able to answer back with a touchdown drive. Really, the only time they were able to put together a big drive.
Yeah, that was their best drive of the day. They did a really nice job of mixing pass and run, and there they get it over the goal to make it 10-7.
How hard was it for your offense to try to overcome some of those turnovers in the first half?
Well, you know, it just becomes demoralizing. It's something we've been really good with ball security, but Jason dropped a couple, and you know, Antonio dropped one, and then the interception, and so it hurt us. That was a big play there. Jason finding Lamp on a 3rd and 10 for a long touchdown pass, which was critical for us.
That gives you a 17-7 lead, but Michigan Tech using the short field here, able to score to make it 17-14 going into halftime.
Yeah, that was after Jason's interception, just an ill-advised throw and a bad call by me. So I always tell them when I make a bad call, you know, because I don't always know where the defense is going to be. I make a bad call, just don't make it a disaster, and we made a disaster there. This is the first possession of the second half. It started with the Jaleel Canty interception, which is huge. Gave us a short field, and we drove down, and that really helped us to you know, put us to a good lead.
24-17 at that stage, and from there nobody able to score. Defense again steps up, limits Michigan Tech to 59 yards in the second half.
Yeah, really, we got them backed up a few times. We failed to convert on some 4th down plays down by the goal, but we kept them backed up, and we physically did a nice job, you know, keeping them backed up and giving us short fields. The negative part is we never really converted on the short fields, and here this first time this has happened in a long time where a defense comes and takes Jason on at the, you know, half-yard line and stops us from scoring.
Again, defensively, we'll see Justin Zimmer pressuring the quarterback here. Had a monster game.
Wow.
GLIAC Defensive Player of the Week.
Was he? Yeah, I I assumed he was going to be GLIAC Player of the Week. He might be National Player of the Week. I've seen maybe 5 performances like that in a 31-year career. It was just incredible. He was awesome.
Certainly wasn't the only player on the defensive side. You mentioned the interception from Jaleel Canty. Troy Smith, we'll see, gets one coming up here shortly.
Yeah, game ends here. Essentially, Troy gets a pick, and that's awesome to get a pick from each corner. Our corners, our whole defense played well. Our defensive secondary was in good position the whole time, and our linebackers did a nice job. Our D-line, obviously, physical and aggressive, and they had a lot of tackles for losses. So all in all, even though I call the plays and I'm like, dang, we didn't play well, but our defense, if they carry us in situations like that, we can still be really good. If we put it all together, then exceptionally good. But if one unit plays really well and the other unit just plays okay, we're still going to be a tough team, and that's the way we were Saturday.
This week, back on the road to start a 2-game road trip here. You travel to Lake Erie to take on the Storm in a high-scoring matchup against them a year ago.
Yeah, they've given us fits the last couple of years. The last 2 years, they've scored a lot of points, and our defense is tuned into that. And I know that from a statistical analysis, our defense wants to be the #1 defense in the GLIAC. Right now, we're the #1 team as far as total yardage, #1 against the run, #1 in scoring defense. So all of those are big factors. We're trying to keep them focused on just continuing to play great. And everyone talks about Jason Vandelon. No one really talks about our defense much, but 9 of the 11 are underclassmen, so we're excited about the progress they've made.
What do you know about Lake Erie going into this contest? Obviously a great running back in Anthony Bilal.
Yeah, Anthony's been around this league for a while now. He's a huge threat. So you just got to contain him. Last year we did for a lot of the game, but then they hurt us with some of the, when you're a team like that, play action can hurt you, and they do a good job of finding the seams in our coverages, and so we need to contain any kind of big pass. Looking for those kind of areas that, when we're trying to fit the run, where they pop the ball and do some run-pass option stuff. And then just containing Anthony. He's going to get his. That's just the way it is, but not making his be like a 60 to 70-yard run.
This week, obviously, the first regional rankings come out. 3 games left here in the regular season, and obviously a one-game-at-a-time mentality, but talk about where you're at in terms of potential playoff scenarios at the end of the year.
Well, 3 games left. First off, it's a mind-blower. Can't believe we're late in October here. We're going to have October 31st, I guess, or whatever this game is on Saturday. So it's pretty wild that it goes that fast. With that being said, we're one way away from being undefeated in September and October, and then November. We need to just win this GLIAC now. It's silly to think too much ahead. For us to be back-to-back GLIAC champs would be a huge accomplishment, and so that's our focus. We just need to win our games, and then at the end you kind of say, okay, now let's look at what these regional rankings look like. A lot of people vying for spots. Coach's job is to be prepared to look at some other, who could be potentially playoff teams. But players' jobs are to keep it focused on the task at hand, and that's Lake Erie. That's finished October perfect, and then going to November with 2 more, and those will be obviously huge challenges for us.
Well, Coach, congratulations again on the victory, 7-0 for the Bulldogs, and best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.